You're looking at the most expensive competition show ever created with an enormous budget spent on visual effects.
Brandon, I have an exclusive video that I want you to make.
We're going to investigate how and where visual effects were used in Beast games, getting an exclusive look behind the scenes at how the world's biggest creator and his team uses CG to extend, distort, and rebuild reality. First up, we got to have a peek at the set for the final episode that was being shot in a couple of days. We only just started to understand the incredible scale of such a production.
Wow. So, we just come on set for the first time, and the scale of this is just absolutely insane. This is just for one segment of one game within the entire season, and then after that, this entire thing gets wrapped.
I can tell you that we took out as much gear as the Olympics. We set a world record for most cameras in an episode of television. We had over 1,200 cameras in episode 1. So we dropped 83 people through trapdoors simultaneously. I don't think the finale will be any less.
It's actually 10 different TV shows that we're doing.
Yeah.
Because nothing's alike. It's literally a different location, a different set, a different element on every one of the 10. We could be loading in a new set while we're striking the other one, while we're rehearsing another set, all simultaneous.
That evening, we headed to Beast City, where filming for episode 9 was soon to start. But before that, we had the chance to catch up with Jimmy himself. What did he think about the use of VFX in a show?
To be honest, if you look at everything we're doing, it stands alone on its own. Like this city outside of it, we're probably gonna put like a desert outside of it or just make it straight grass. We don't need to, but I just like going that extra mile and going even further. Even when you look at those 1,000 platforms, like those are real towers over there we built, and people are actually terrified. When they fall, you know what I mean? But then to like make it all look cool with effects, it just honestly like creates like a universe and like elevates it to where you can't find it anywhere else.
Personally, I'd rather be practical, but putting things 100 feet in the sky costs way too much money, so we can't do that. But CG should just enhance the set. It shouldn't contribute to the gameplay outside of just making it look cooler. So anything that enhances it, I'm okay with, as long as it makes sense. But we film as much practical as possible. Like if those towers weren't towers, that'd be dumb, so we build real towers.
I think storytelling is told in many ways, and I think VFX enhances some of it. And we make videos that are supposed to be high spectacles, and VFX helps a lot of high spectacles. Oh, talking about some of the people that overuse VFX, come on over here. What'd you say to me?
The workflow has gotten interesting because now that I'm on set more and I have like a post-production brain, I can actually like help them not screw over the VFX artists like crazy. Like a fly-through of like a CG environment could be something that's really good for helping audiences understand things. When you have the ability to do anything you want in 3D, you can really like make sure they understand what's going on in the entire video and you know, things like that.
Sketch, when you see VFX used in Beast videos, what do you think?
I think it's awesome, and no, I'm just kidding. Wait, let me so I do. So wait, so ask me the question one more time.
We don't hide the fact that we do VFX. If there's something that is enhanced in post, it's not something we're gonna stray away from. Most of the time people just find it cooler looking, so they're naturally more excited to watch it. But as long as the gameplay is not tarnished by the CG, I think it's fair.
So we actually have 3 levels of VFX. We have like sort of what would be the traditional graphics package, which is graphics, logos, fly-ins. They're gonna be doing some animatics and overlays. And we also have a bunch of After Effects artists who are in-house, so they'll be working with our editors. And that'll be some of that kind of classic, like highlight this, here's a grid kind of stuff. And then the one bigger unique thing, which is set extension, placing the set in a world not connected to the real world.
To my understanding, the way it's gonna work, there's a budget. A theoretical budget that we're not supposed to go over. And how much we're really willing to do, it depends basically on how much money is left over. Because all these sets look kind of remarkable as they are, but if we have leftover money, well yeah, we'll blow some money on VFX for sure.
That's the bit that's different here. So usually when we work on a show, we're given, like, oh, you're gonna do this many shots, and that's what we bid on. Here it's like, we're gonna do some stuff, and whatever looks cool, those are the ones we're gonna use.
The idea is to capture everything you can. It's a big challenge, but it's also really exciting and fun to see all these different shots My heart's with the editors for trying to narrow that footage down into a digestible half-an-hour piece.
I think there's a lot of like experimental aspects to our VFX approach. I think we just sort of assume it's going to work, and it would if we had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 months, but we got 8 weeks. We're airing, like the show's airing. And so what will happen is the VFX will probably come down if we can't execute.
VFX used to be only a thing like movies could use. It's like very rare like unscripted shows use it, or at least use it and it's not cringe. And so it's like kind of a rule book for writing as we go. You have to just, you know, use common sense. Like I don't want it to be deceptive. That's why we built this city. You know what I mean? That's why we built those towers. That's why this is real. I don't know, is this real money?
Having spoken to the big creative minds behind Beast Games, it was apparent that a lot of the show did not really rely on visual effects. But we were hopeful that the final episode was going to be an incredible spectacle.
The last episode's always the best, so I'm expecting a huge thing. I really don't know what it's going to be, but I hope it's something like I'm above the ground, like 60 feet in the air, and I have to jump from one place to the other. I want a big thing, you know? I want to feel like I deserve to win, and I expect it to be very big.
The day of the final episode had come. Once we arrived on set, it seemed a lot bigger than it did a few days ago.
The stage manager came up to me and asked me if I was aware of the changes, and I said, nope. And then I found out basically everything from that second staircase was being expanded and changed. I made sure the scanner was available for today, and here we are. You've got a spinning mirror here. It's a laser that's coming up through here, and it's shooting it all around the room. And basically, in an axis, it's measuring the distance to every little point going out. Shoots out a laser bounces back, and then it records that distance. And then I get thousands and thousands of little slices, and I put them all together, and I get a 3D point cloud. And then by taking multiple locations, I can triangulate all those and turn it into a 3D mesh. We are not the priority on any set we're ever scanning. So you've got to work and get what you can as you can.
We are going to be extending these walls that you see around the perimeter of the set. We're going to be extending them down in visual effects down into infinity. They stand on these columns, which we are going to be extending down into space. All these gray blocks are just here for safety. Those are going to be gone. Also, we'll be just extending this straight down into the depths. The contestants will be tossing these balls, trying to get them into the tubes. If they get a ball into another tube, then that contestant gets eliminated. All right, that's the set for episode 10, 110, the end of season 1.
I'll be honest, we were a little disappointed by the use of visual effects in the final episode. Carl even walked us through some of the visual effects shots that never made it into the edit. Clearly, there just wasn't enough time. But at the end of the day, what's more important than visual effects is the story.
The visual effects should be as invisible as possible, so you shouldn't look at it and say that's a VFX shot. You should look at it and just say, cool. All my favorite shots I've ever worked on, you would not know there was CG in the shots. One of my favorite projects I worked on was John Wick. My favorite shot is when he's in bed with a puppy. They had a male puppy that was rolling around and very excited to be in bed with Keanu Reeves. One of our artists here spent an entire summer digitally erasing puppy penis.
I like doing BTS of when we do VFX so people don't think I'm trying to hide it. Because I use it as a way to make the videos look cooler, but I don't want people to think I use VFX deceptively.
The more you make it look fake and unrealistic, the more like that realism is pulled from it. And I like things that are real. I want people to feel like they're attached to it, like they're part of the city, you know what I mean? Like what you're seeing around here is completely real. Now the desert behind it will just be a cool little CG moment that I think makes it stand out a little bit more, but it doesn't do anything outside of enhance it.
I'm sure you've seen other videos where Jimmy will show the effect. You'll see the foam pit and then it'll disappear and people fall 30 feet. He doesn't try and pretend that it's real. He allows the playfulness of it, but then shows, no, this is, we're right here. But take a look at this.
There is no button that does it. It's all artist driven. The artists are always putting their heart and their effort into a shot. And I think it's commonly misbelieved that we just have tools that do it for us. It's all humans behind it. And these are just tools, but the artists are the artists.
Excited for the last episode?
It's the best day of my life. Really? I'm so excited. Well, you know about the twist?
With the coin flip?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to go for it?
I would.
You
That's
would go
insane.
for it? Wait,
Yeah.
you'd risk. You've been here for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you'd risk everything just for one coin flip?
Of course.
On a 50-50?
Tails never fail.
Tails never fails.
$10 million coin flip. I'm feeling tails.
Story is just double. I actually cannot believe that just happened. We've been with everybody basically since 1,000 people. So we've gotten to know them as the numbers have gotten smaller and smaller. I'm just excited to see who actually finally wins. It's finally the moment.
It's nothing really about CGI anymore. This is more about the story, and we're just kind of following these people, and because some of them have families that actually need it. So, some of them have crazier backstories that really would make sense for them to just win that $10 million. I think the visual effects are going to be just magnifying the situation, magnifying the atmosphere of this whole scenario. I mean, you can't really beat $10 million standing behind us right now. So
I think for the most part, people will they want to see spectacles in the beginning, and then I think as the story gets a little bit more deeper and you start to fall in love with these characters, we started go deeper into storytelling as we go. Our goal is we take something super simple like a coin flip, and we put the most extreme stakes I could ever think of in my entire life, which is the whole grand prize, and we just double it. And that was simple. I mean, we're saying it's simple, but we lost $5 million. But at the end of the day, it's really cool.
In case you're wondering, yes, this show is way over budget.
Winning means that I get to help my family. It means I get to help my community. It means I get to start my nonprofit children's shelter.
This would be just an amazing opportunity to be able to help people and to repay my parents back for everything that they've helped me with.
First, I thought I was going to win $5 million. Now it's 10. It would change the life of my child who's got a rare disease. I really think we'd speed up a cure super quickly.
Beast Games is based off of what do people do when you put basically, $10 million, the elimination of all life's problems right in front of your face, and everyone's competing for it. Psychologically, what do people do? Do they work together? Do they, screw each other over? Turning this foam pit into a void is not essential. The show could air with the foam pit being the foam pit. But the thing that I think about when I see this scene with some VFX on it is when we take this foam pit and we make it this obviously impossible large black void, is a little bit of extra dopamine mixed in with the crazy drama here. A lot of heartbreaking stuff happening in this episode, right? It's no secret. But there's something a little funny about throwing a red ball and seeing it bounce down thousands and thousands of this impossible distance of feet, or seeing someone get dropped thousands of feet screaming. It's like mixing a little bit of these kind of funny slapstick jokes in to this high intensity drama thing. I think it's going to be a really sweet little sauce to add on there, but it's not essential in any way.
If you look at that last game, if you objectively break it down, this is a crazy set, but at the end of the day, they're just throwing a ball in a tube, right? What makes it interesting is the story, the fact that they're competing for so much money and that they had to fight so hard to get there, and that you're, at this point in the show, hopefully attached to the characters. That's why you're watching. Especially reality shows, it's when you get connected to the contestants and you start rooting for them, and you feel that when they win and you feel sad when they do bad, and it's that emotional roller coaster is what's entertaining.
Has your mindset changed of what's more important, spectacle or storytelling compared to what it
used to be? No, both are important. That's the thing, you can spend more money while also telling stories. And I think that's one of the things we do well and better than most people is as things get more spectacle-y and bigger, you would think they would get more corporate and stagnant, but still having that both sides of the coin is great.
Well, look, Jimmy, I've learned so much from being here. I really appreciate you flying us out here, but thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for coming out.
This has been an incredible experience.
I can't wait for everyone to watch this show.
Yeah, me too. So we just watched the finals unfold, and there are 3 contestants remaining, and I just can't believe what we've watched unfold over the past hour. Unfortunately, we can't stay for the last game, so this is where we leave, and we don't find out the results until the last episode comes out, but damn, this entire experience of watching it unfold live has been insane. I think one thing I was really surprised at when we first came and saw this set, and then started speaking to the VFX supervisors, was actually how little VFX they've used in this final episode. Yeah, they've got some cool set extensions and they're going to make everything feel a lot grander and bigger, but this is the biggest TV show in history, and especially after what we saw in the first episode, I thought this would feel a lot bigger as well. But I think something I've come to realize as we've watched all of this, take place is that actually you don't really need those big VFX set pieces when you've done such a good job at telling the characters and the contestants' stories. And that's what's been so apparent with being here, Each one of them want to win so badly that actually, if you start putting big VFX set pieces in, it kind of takes away from the actual story. And the real story is the contestants. It's not the CGI, it's not anything else. So yeah, it's really been a magical, eye-opening experience, and can't wait to see who wins.
I got one more mother asking me about VFX.
I mean, we're definitely going to do a season 2. It's been fun.
VFX, it's so cool, it's so awesome, and I love VFX.
Yeah.
Is this for VFX? No.